I think Biden does have an enormous problem with young people because they're living the economic realities of his policies. They can't buy homes, they can't buy cars. Their rent, where they're living in apartments, is going through the roof. It's up over 20% since he took office. They can't put fuel in their cars, and then he wants them to go buy a very expensive electric car that they can't afford, and they can't find a good place to charge it. So they're looking at all these things and they're saying, why am I supposed to like this guy? He doesn't control the border. We got people coming in, scaring the daylights out of innocent, law-abiding citizens. They're scared they're going to get hit in the back of the head with a brick on a major city street, and the person who did it to them will be out back on the streets before they get out of the hospital getting the stitches in their head. So there's really nothing for a young person to look at Joe Biden's presidency and say, boy, I'd sure love 4 more years of this. I mean, my gosh, you'd have to be a masochist to want this again. So Carville ought to be looking at the policies rather than just at the politics of this and realize that he's in the party of a guy who just has led this country right down the rabbit hole.
And several reports coming out in just the last few weeks saying that Biden's campaign is worried about the threat that RFK Jr. poses because they believe he will be taking some of those younger voters. Many of the young people that maybe voted for Biden in 2020 are sick of it, and they're also not wanting that Trump-Biden rematch, so they're going with RFK Jr. Do you think that happens?
I do. And, you know, RFK, I know that he's the anathema of the Democrat Party, which is odd given his history, his name.
Right.
But the fact is, they are afraid of him, part because he's a very intelligent guy. You know, say what you want to, and you may not agree with all the positions he takes. I certainly don't. But I have great respect for him. And he's very well studied. When he comes at you with a point of view, it's thoroughly documented. He doesn't just come up with these wild ideas that he can't show you chapter and verse for. And I find that refreshing. And the other day, he dropped a truth bomb on CNN that exploded the building. I mean, talking about something that probably required someone screaming into the intercom, clean up on aisle 4. He actually went on air and told Aaron Burnett that Joe Biden was a much greater threat to democracy than Donald Trump, because Biden was the first president in history that used the power of government to censor free speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to give him a standing ovation.
I don't know how something tells me
that.
CNN's not going to have him back anytime soon. I don't know how he snuck in there. I don't know how he must have snuck into the building, literally. But, you know, the big knock on RFK is that, oh, he's anti-science. And people said that Aristotle was anti-science. I don't think that was the term in ancient Greece when he said the world was round and not flat. People said, you know, he's a nut, right? That's the same stuff they've said about RFK Jr. And look, sometimes he's wrong, but a lot of times he's been spot on with what he's had to say, particularly when it comes to COVID-19. And he was saying it early, and the left doesn't like that. Just quickly on RFK Jr., why is the Biden White House refusing a Kennedy Secret Service protection, especially given the fact that his father, Bobby Kennedy, was killed by an assassin's bullet, and his uncle, the president, was shot and killed in Dallas in 1963? Why would you deny him Secret Service protection?
I think it's a reckless decision by the Biden administration to do that. He certainly should have Secret Service protection. There are people with far fewer death threats on them who are getting some level of executive protection. And I think that just given what you mentioned, not only the history, but the fact that there are some crazy people out there who might say, oh, we can't let RFK up in Joe Biden's next term. I just feel like that. Why wouldn't you give him Secret Service protection? It's in everyone's best interest.
Right.
None of us want to see a candidate. Heck, I don't want to see Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I don't want to see anyone attacked. And so one of the reasons we provide protection is for all of our benefit as American citizens to live in a free country.
And it's just so amateurish of the Biden White House to do that, because heaven forbid something actually happen, then it becomes a massive political problem for a candidate who's already dealing with a lot of problems and is going to be running to be president again in 7 months. It doesn't make any sense to me. Governor Mike Huckabee, good to see you. Look forward to having you back soon. Thank you.